Hello and welcome to Wisdom Hour. Today's question is, I want to be able to give my brother advice on how to deal with his current challenge. He won't seek any advice himself. My brother has a lot of pain from nerve damage 12 months after an accident, which crushed his legs from the pelvis down. Is there anything besides living on painkillers he can do to help get himself back to where he was before? Well, I'm very sorry to hear that. It sounds like a dreadful accident. And let's see if we can help with anything here. Okay, give me a yes. To come into his field, into her field, into his field. He's okay with me on a spiritual level. Okay, so I'm just checking that's okay to come into his field. Okay, and I'm getting a yes. So we want to work with one statement question. How does your brother feel about getting a gentle treatment which gets him to open up his emotions about what has happened? His emotional state is creating more pain in his system, and even though the physical damage won't get better in terms of his use of his legs. He can deal with the emotional reaction to this terrible accident. His Great Spirit is able to practice what? Entering into the pain he feels and getting his higher self to present these feelings to God. Here, his emotional feelings about what has happened can be validated, and he will be supported by God to adjust to his new physical reality. This new physical reality is very difficult to deal with because it came so suddenly, but when he realizes that a great deal of learning also comes with this type of great challenge, he will find his Great Spirit and rise above any pain by placing him in the supportive arms of God and knowing that his physical pain is is greatly supported and gets what? And gets him to become closer to God. This spiritual place, which many of us avoid for much of our lives, becomes a critical place to enter for our survival in events such as these. And so, on one hand, even though this is a great burden for your brother and for you worrying about him, he has great gifts to receive from the challenges of this. Of course, when you are in the great pain and suffering of a great loss, as he will be experiencing, and an emotional pain of which way to turn to go forward with his life, he will realize that the only way is up. By this we mean he can't avoid what is going on, but he can reach up to God to elevate him out of the great pain and suffering, and know that the closer he becomes in spiritual terms to his greater self, or God, or general operating device, as Kate would call it, and realizing he is a part of God that can either be separate or can be greatly supported by God, then he can make those choices. The truth is, we are all part of God and nothing ever separates us from God, but our own practical beliefs that teach us that our spiritual part of our life is not important, or not as important as our material bodies or the other material things in our lives. Once we experience having a material part of our world or body or surroundings or another person's material expression taken from us, we can either blame the world or blame fate or blame ourselves or blame everything and become very bitter about life, or we can see that these losses are a natural part of life, and although not many people will experience what your brother is experiencing, they will experience loss in other ways and forms in their lives, and that is all designed to point us back towards God and how the material side of our lives is not to be trusted too much. Not to be trusted too much. Instead, when we place our trust in the non-material, that is in love and goodness and presence to our great experience of life, no matter whether we are judging it as painful or happy or bad or good, but instead greet it as the most magical and incredible experience, then our interpretation of everything that is going on is greatly enhanced and won't burden us as much. It may still be incredibly challenging, but the energy we give to it will either be energy of great endurance and presence, or one of expecting things to be different, and when they are not, getting angry or frustrated. This anger and frustration adds to the emotional burden of any other physical pain and can increase it by up to 500%. The strength of emotions is truly incredible, and when we realize this, we can get going on placing ourselves in the present moment and experiencing the feelings as they arise, both physical and emotional, and what? And working with our greater spiritual self, we can become calm and breathe and move our focus to something either beautiful or funny or greatly nourishing that prioritizes our mental energy. And when we do this, our focus is tied up in something nourishing or entertaining or greatly sustaining. And the way our brain works it is hard to focus strongly on two things at once. So, when there is pain in the body, if we place our focus firmly somewhere else, we will find that moments have passed, and during those moments we didn't actually feel the pain. It is only when we bring our focus back to the pain that we can allow our brain to feel it. This is generally how our brains work, and even though it can flick its focus very quickly back and forth between things, by developing a strong focus and exercising this through things like learning an instrument or getting involved in a task or something we are very interested in that really takes all of our mental focus, we learn to rise above this pain and begin to create a firm presence to what we are doing. This strengthening of our focus helps us in everything we do in our lives, and it is one great gift of managing pain. When your brother's pain is very bad, he could get a what? Get a great project going that he is really interested in and put all of his efforts into it. And in doing so, he will find that he is able to manage his pain much better. And in doing so, he will feel more empowered, and he will also develop great focus in his life, which can lead to wonderful things happening for him that wouldn't have been able to happen until he has developed this type of laser focus. Whenever he stays focused on the pain will feel like it is getting worse, and his frustration around the pain will increase, and he will feel punished and that life is unfair and that great things can't happen to him anymore. But this is not true, and in fact, his ability to engage with life in a much more fulfilling what is it? Is it a word? No. in a much more fulfilling, everlasting what is it? Child. Everlasting. BU. What's the BU for the child? Can we just have an adult interpretation, please? Process that brings understanding to his life. BU, brings understanding. Okay. This doesn't necessarily bring him comfort immediately, but it is in the process of coming to terms with what has happened and how he can manage himself that these great gifts can become developed in him. It is not magic, and it is not gentle what he is going through, but it does have its own form of miraculousness about it. When you see what is possible from a future standpoint, where you can see all of the wonderful traits and virtues and practical skills that he will learn purely because of this accident. In his journey, he will meet people he would not have met, and he will get to know others who he can help, and he will be a powerful person for good if he allows himself to progress with his evolution around this matter. He has been told that his nerves are damaged and that this won't change anytime soon, nor will his movement get much better. But his progress on his other levels can be incredible, and when he realizes this, he may feel differently about all of what has happened to him. This is a great challenge, and he won't find it easy to create this new perspective, but it is a wonderful opportunity to really grasp the challenge with both hands and say, my life is precious, and my life is important, and my legs won't stop me from moving forward in life, but whether or not they improve, I can become a bigger and better person, and I can place myself in the center of my great spirit, or with God, whichever way you want to look at it, and work with God to be a great inspiration and good example for others who may go through similar experiences. Anything else? Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling it for him. That's tough, isn't it? Yeah, really tough. I really hope that may... Is it best if she gets to watch this? No. Saying it's better that you take on board this understanding, you as the sister, okay? And present things to him in bite-sized pieces that are relevant to how he is feeling at any given visit or interaction with you, okay? So to hear all of that all at once may be simply too much for him, and because of that, he is likely to completely dismiss it and think what a lot of BS. But you can know better, and you can help him by being armed with this information and presenting bits of it in a way that is relevant to whatever he is experiencing at the time. So I hope that helps you. Okay? It's hard to see your loved ones suffer. That's it for today, people. I hope you can get something out of that. Okay, bye now.